Greetings fellow Whovians and welcome to Timey Wimey Review, where today I celebrate the 25th anniversary of Doctor Who the movie, which was originally broadcast in the UK on BBC One on May the 27th, 1996. Audiences in America and Canada managed to get to see this TV movie a little bit earlier than the original broadcast back in the UK, and it's fair to say that this TV movie did receive mixed reviews. Now, is it as bad as what people make it out to be? Well, please hit the subscribe button and let's check out in this review. Just in case you don't know the plot, the newly regenerated 8th Doctor has to defeat his rival Time Lord the Master and stop all life on Earth from being destroyed. And that's pretty much an abridged version of this plot. A lot more was going on in this TV movie, which I will get into later on in this review. But first, I would like to talk about Paul McGann's incarnation of the 8th Doctor in this TV movie. I really liked his performance in this movie. He's, from the get-go, a very likeable Doctor, but he managed to showcase his range throughout this pilot. He's fun, he's funny, quizzical and silly at times, but then he can show the heavy stuff as well, especially towards the ending of the 85-minute special. I really liked how Paul McGann delivered his line, "more than you," when the Master asked, "What do you know about second chances?" It's not a polished performance as you would probably hear in the Big Finish audios, but from an introductory point for American audiences, I thought Paul McGann did a great job. I also liked Eric Roberts' performance as the Master, even though the characterization of the Master was a little bit misguided in this TV movie. Because the Master in this was this dark, moody villain that looked like the Terminator, and then towards the end of this special, he becomes this campy supervillain, really. You know, I love to dress for the occasion. That is not a knock on Eric Roberts' performance at all, because I thought he gave it his all in this TV movie. And to be honest, Eric Roberts is a really nice guy. I was very lucky to have met him at a Comic-Con a few years ago, and I'm glad that he has returned for Big Finish audio. To summarize, yeah, I loved his performance, definitely gave it his all, but again, the characterization of the Master was misguided. And that is the main flaw for Doctor Who the movie. The story is full of missteps, and you can tell that the presentation of this movie was being pulled in different directions from the studios that were involved. You wanted the BBC for it to be done that way, and Fox Television to be done a different way, and Universal Television to be done another direction. And I just wanted to go through some of the elements in this story that just didn't quite work for me. Firstly, the prologue at the beginning of this pilot, where the Doctor is collecting the remains of the Master as he was trialed and sentenced to death by the Daleks on Skaro. And if it was another alien race, fine, but because it's the Daleks, I just didn't like it at all. It gave me it gave me a bit of a headache just thinking about it, and it's such, out of all the problems with this story, this is probably like the smallest, but for me it's quite huge. I didn't like the voices that were being used there, even though I just found out prior to filming this that the director Jeffrey Sachs did the voice for the Daleks, because the voices that he were given were by like an American voiceover artist, was even worse. Apparently it was the Daleks. Yeah, I didn't like the voices at all. They clearly, I don't know if they had like the rights from the Terry Nation estate, or if those types of deals were done at the time. But yeah, just to hear the voices of the Daleks and not see them, it was just absolutely pointless. I would just rather have had just a new alien race killing the Master and the Doctor taking his remains. Then we have the Eye of Harmony that's in the TARDIS. Again, doesn't work. You know, from my recollections, the Eye of Harmony was on Gallifrey. not in the cloister room, which is now this huge room in the TARDIS. It, again, didn't quite work for me. I'm kind of glad that on the flip side of it, they kind of retconned it in modern Doctor Who now, when Rose Tyler looked into the heart of the TARDIS. If it was again that would work, that would have been fine. But because it actually the Eye of Harmony, no, rather it had just been the heart of the TARDIS. And now the elephant in the room, which is the Doctor being half human. Again, I don't really take that as gospel, to be honest. I see the Doctor as an alien from another planet. I don't know why they kind of threw that element in there. I don't know if that was for more American audiences to relate to. I don't know. And it's not like Doctor Who has tinkered with its canon before and has done more recently. We're looking at Timeless Child here, people. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about the half human element to this story? Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? Again, let me know. I don't take it as gospel. I think it was done as a pilot, but again, not really touched upon now in modern Doctor Who. Now let's talk about some of the good elements of this story. First one being, we have the regeneration. We have the Seventh Doctor, Sylvester McCoy, returning to do the regeneration scene. And I know that was something that producer Philip Seagull had to really put his foot down to have, because I think the BBC would have had a bit of a panic on and gone, oh no, let's not have Sylvester McCoy back. But no, I'm glad that Sylvester McCoy deservedly got a regeneration scene, and I'm glad that Philip Seagull put his foot down. And to be fair, the American producers actually wanted to continue the Doctor Who legacy story. You know, you're looking at sort of modern day now, and it's always like reimaginings and reboots, where at the time it's a continuation. It's something that's a bit more rare now in TV production. So I'm glad that they went for a continuation rather than a reboot. I like to a certain extent that it was set in modern times. I know it was based on 1999, but it was pretty much a modern story, and they included things like gang warfare and obviously the kiss scene with Grace and the Doctor. The kiss didn't bother me. It didn't bother me then. It definitely doesn't bother me now. It was a little bit sort of kind of reminiscing on sort of like the action hero rescuing the girl and having a kiss. It's kind of like that Hollywood feel to it, but it don't really bother me. And but if anything, it set a template to what the kind of companions are like now in terms of their emotional story in modern Doctor Who. I also like the characterizations of the companions, Grace and Chang Li. I thought they had quite a good story arc throughout this pilot, and again serves as a template to kind of what the modern companion is now. It's kind of a little bit of eliminating that glass ceiling that you kind of had with the companions from classic Doctor Who. I also like that Chang Li was pretty much the companion to the Master. It's something that we're not really seen before in Doctor Who. Again, he was kind of misguided and manipulated, but had that sort of redemption sort of story angle to finish off his character with, and kind of learned his lessons along the way. So I thought they kind of rounded out these characters as a pilot, and they could return, or it was just a one-off. I thought they did the characterizations of the companions quite well. I'm going to give Doctor Who the movie a TARDIS rating of 6 out of 10. This story does have its problems, and the presentation of it you can see on screen as well, because you got an American audience from the studios having this introduction of a new character, and in its presentation, the story does get a little bit convoluted towards the end. And for the UK audience, you have they've been given the nostalgia pops with the Sonic Screwdriver, the Jelly Babies, and the Seal of Rassilon and Gallifrey, and the two presentations just doesn't gel in this 85-minute movie. However, it is still entertaining, it's still worth a watch, and mainly for the performances of Paul McGann and Eric Roberts. And huge plaudits have to go to Philip Segal to get this project of his off the ground and something on screen. In the DVD extra, there's a great documentary called The 7-Year Itch, which goes through what he had to go through to get this return of an iconic character back onto our screens. And it might not be his definitive version, but to see something new, I definitely appreciated it when it came back on our screens back in 1996, and I'm sure quite a lot of Whovians at the time was excited to see something new for the Doctor, to see him return. And I think without this TV movie, maybe we wouldn't have had what we see now in terms of modern Doctor Who, in terms of the characterizations of the companions that we've had, like Rose Tyler and Donna Noble and Yaz and Ryan. And a big thank you to Paul McGann's involvement and the legacy of the Eighth Doctor through Big Finish Audio. I really need to get my teeth into especially the Eighth Doctor era of the audio adventures. And hopefully sometime soon I will do a review from one of the Eighth Doctor audio adventures on Timey Wimey Review. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on Doctor Who the movie, and do you think without the movie Doctor Who would have returned to the TV screens that we now know and love today? Let's celebrate this 25th anniversary of the TV movie. It's definitely still worth a watch. I do highly recommend, if you haven't seen it before, do check it out. It is available on DVD and Blu-ray, but it's also on streaming service BritBox. Next time on Timey Wimey Review, I will be reviewing the 5th Doctor story, Earthshock. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. And as a good doctor once said, I love humans, always seeking patterns to things that aren't there.